What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to talk about what the news is saying about Tesla stock and break down what's going on with Elon Musk and all these other things that are very important for Tesla. Before I do anything like this and talk about the FSD updates and what the news has been saying for the last couple of days and also for today, let me just mention a couple of things. I'm firstly not a financial planner, so take none of this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks plus a $50 cash reward. The offer ends in just 4 days. Check it out before they run out. Anyways, when it comes to Tesla, as you can see, there's this head and shoulders like pattern that could lead to Tesla potentially coming down, especially with this rising wedge. But looking at Apple and other things, we're not 100% sure about that. Now, I don't want to focus too much on the chart, whether this does lead to downside or not. I want to focus more on what the news is saying about Tesla. And we have some very big pieces of news involving it that came out. So Elon Musk basically has a Cybertruck, and he's been driving around in it, and he's said some very, very awesome things about its performance and how well it's going to, grow as time goes on. But in doing so, he ended up driving around like the Palo Alto area, which is a part of California, where Mark Zuckerberg, I believe he lives around there. And he basically was joking around about how he's been driving around the area looking for Mark Zuckerberg and saying things like that, which is pretty funny. But the thing about this is, and here's the thing about it, I don't truly know if they're going to end up in a cage together. I don't even know if it's going to happen at this point. And the reason I say that is because in the past, there were all these different sources pointing the same direction that the fight would happen. And looking at it, it's becoming a little bit more foolish, a little bit more comical. And even Mark Zuckerberg said that he can't take Elon Musk seriously. So I don't know if it's truly going to happen. There were talks about it happening in Italy. Maybe it's going to happen, maybe not. But Elon Musk looks like he's pretty down to it. He even tried to go near Mark Zuckerberg's house, apparently. It says somewhere right here that he was navigating to the house of Meta platforms and also like around Mark Zuckerberg's. I mean, honestly, guys, I don't even know about this. It's just pretty crazy. But if this happens, it would be very interesting to witness. But I really hope that nobody gets too hurt, and I hope they just keep it, fair. Try to be good sports to one another, and it's going to be really cool to witness if it were to happen. But I don't even know at this point. There was news that came out about how the autopilot probe is about to end with the NHTSA, but they may have to force changes on driver monitoring, and that's the reason why we saw some interesting changes that just came out to the FSD beta. That may be because of the NHTSA changes. So I'm going to talk about that at the very end. But this is very interesting. If they make any big announcements, especially going into like tomorrow, this could lead to some more volatility in Tesla's share price. And it's very important to pay very close attention to this. Now, there was also news that came out about how the Tesla diner and drive-in theater in Los Angeles are getting closer and closer. And the news is saying right here, according to sources, that Tesla may have received approval from the Los Angeles Department of Building and Safety to build its new supercharger hangout, not in Santa Monica, but in West Hollywood. And that could be very, very cool. A lot of people are going to be incentivized to come over there, charge their Teslas, watch movies, and do things like that. That could be very, very fun for them. And I think that's a very, very good idea to just incentivize more people to come. There were articles coming out, I talked about this a couple of days ago, that Tesla's overall supercharger industry is projected to hit over $20 billion in revenue per year, which is like super, super bullish. And I think it's very possible it's going to grow from like 10 to like 20, very, very fast. There are all these different electric car companies that are adopting Tesla's superchargers, and because Tesla put themselves on top by controlling this industry, it just makes it even better for them. There's also news that came out right over here. What's very good for them would be the fact that we had some nice looking things coming out. Right here, if you look at their sales numbers in China, people are talking about how there may be a better path for them in India, as there was talks about how India is working on potentially cutting some import taxes. That would be very, very good for them. That's great news for Tesla, especially. And as far as the Cybertruck goes, with more updates and more hype coming out around it, I think it's going to be very bullish for the end of the year for Tesla. So I'm very bullish to end this year. I think November is going to be a strong month for them in particular, and I'm very excited to see what comes from that. Now, another piece of news that came out this morning was that the US regulators have probed 42 Tesla crashes, which may have been involved with the self-driving software. This is not great news in a way, but we'll see what they find from it by doing these investigations. I think it is important to do this for the safety for as many people as possible. But the thing that's worth noting is that Think about how many users are using the FSD beta, right? We know that hundreds of thousands, if not millions, use it quite often. And with hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people using it, there are bound to be accidents nonetheless, right? It's bound to happen. The beta is just a beta for a reason, and there's still improvements that have to be made to it. Now, there's no true, conclusive evidence for me to say that like all those accidents happen because of the beta. Could be other reasons, right? We live in a multifaceted world. And if it were them, I mean, Tesla has to make adjusted and according changes, of course, as they're continuing to improve the technologies. If not, I mean, like I said before, there are always improvements that could be made. And Tesla has to do what it can to improve the technologies. But I'm a believer that this will eventually become reality. Autonomous driving, there's no doubt in my eyes that's going to happen eventually. It just needs a lot of time looking at the current roads that we have and looking at the external things that the beta is not able to detect, such as like looking at traffic cones or making like false turns when it shouldn't. There's still improvements that have to be made, but we are getting closer every day. And that's part of why I'm bullish on Tesla. Now, there's this news coming out from Yahoo News that many of these Tesla investors and owners are not happy with the brand, but what I want to talk about is how that's just normal. Every single brand is going to have consumers that are that way based off their surveys. And about 21% said they disapproved of Elon Musk. Now, here's the thing. We could scream all we want about the small percentage of the individuals that don't even like Musk or don't even like Tesla, despite owning Teslas. But the thing is, here's the thing. Most of them, the majority of them like him based off this. Most of them are like okay with him. They're okay with Musk, okay with Tesla, they like the brand. It's a very, very small percentage when you think about it out of how many that actually own these cars. Now, many out there were just like, saying negative things about Musk. That's completely fine. They have the right to have their opinions, but it's just a small percentage of them. Many others out there talked about other issues with the cars themselves, such as the customer service, some of the other things going on with it. And most of this article is just talking about Elon Musk himself. I mean, it's just criticizing him. Honestly, guys, he's a man that appreciates free speech and he likes to say what's on his mind. So I can respect that. I respect him trying to advocate for protecting that right. And it is what it is. I don't always agree with him, but I do appreciate what he has done, and I think we should just give him respect. Not everyone has to like him, that's fine. And these surveys are suggesting that most are still fine with Musk, just a small percentage of them disapprove of him. And if that's the case, then it is what it is. But at the end of the day, what he's doing is going to continue to make people money. If you look at Tesla, and the work he's doing is still much appreciated. Anyways, when it comes to the beta updates, there's some news that came out about this, about how the cabin camera is going to be updated to help individuals out there and remind them to keep their eyes on the road. This is also going to be important for them for safety precautions. And they're going to use this to improve another function, which I'm going to talk about in just a minute. Before that, we have the beta right here that's going to improve its capabilities when it comes to its range. That's another update that's good for it. There's going to be the shorts deadline lane changes, which are going to be improved to avoid going off route for better modeling and things like that. And then going on, the driving visualizations are going to be improved. Just looking at the way they're looking, you can see like detecting people and stuff, which is pretty cool. And then finally, this is the thing I was talking about, the full self-driving beta suspension. That's another thing that's an update for maximum safety and accountability. The FSD will be suspended if a user is using it improperly, if they're using it the wrong way, if they're messing up, if they're not engaged properly. Because whenever you drive them, you have to be very engaged, right? You're not just going to let the robot do all the work and just like, drink a coffee or like do your taxes while driving. That's not how it works. The way it works is you have to act as if you are driving. Maybe you don't have your hands on the wheels all the time, but you're going to act as if you're not you are driving. Excuse me. You're going to be very attentive and then watch it simultaneously, nonetheless. So that's very important. That's worth mentioning. Please be well aware of all of this, and all these different changes are important for Tesla to continue to improve. Anyways, with that said, Tesla's continuing to improve the FSD. We'll talk more about the Cybertruck later, and there are a lot of jokes involving Musk, which are very fun to talk about. So we'll see how things go moving forward. We'll see if there's any news involving the probes. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. This is the latest news that came out for Tesla. Have a great day. And once again, thank you so much. Thank you and peace out.